Greetings, viewers. This certainly doesn't look like Hamfest, does it? Well, this is actually the post-trip. And I gotta say, I did not really shoot any video. Well, okay, that's not true. I did shoot some video of the trip down there. I'm a big believer in taking a vacation trip for the purposes of enjoying it. And when something seems kind of like work, well, it's not really all that enjoyable anymore. So I did not shoot a whole lot of video. I mean, I shot the usual subset portions, but I didn't shoot anything on Monday because I did not really feel all that great on Monday for a variety of reasons. I did not shoot anything else today other than whatever it is that got time-lapsed, or will be getting time-lapsed. As a courtesy, I'll probably edit all that stuff together and maybe upload it and post it as an unlisted video, but I kind of want to get this thing out there for everybody to see. So we're going to go over the things that I got at Hamfest. As usual, it wasn't just the Hamfest, it was basically just an excuse for a bunch of us friends to get together and exchange junk, exchange laughs, and exchange stories, and that is exactly what we did once again this year. As far as the finds go, honestly, once again, the little, I guess you could call it a swap fest before the actual Hamfest was, like I said, once again, the main attraction. The Hamfest itself, while it wasn't terrible, was kind of a bust because I'm not a ham radio operator, at least not yet. And so what I go to a Hamfest and search for is the copious quantities of random electronic junk, you know, computers, radios, broadcast radios, test equipment, you know, whatever else that you happen to find. And there just wasn't a whole lot of that. It was mostly just, you know, ham radio gear, which I guess makes sense for a Hamfest, but I don't know. Hopefully next year it picks up a little bit. It's going to be at the same venue next year, so I guess that's not terrible. Let's get started with some finds here. Courtesy of UXW Bill is this APC Smart UPS 1000. It had some squiggly batteries in it. Well, I mean, they're not too squiggly, but it did have some dead batteries. I have all the cabling, the fuse, everything else. This is not like a lot of these in that it takes the larger size. I think there were 12 amp hour batteries in here originally that were connected straight with the terminals. It's not like the newer style with the Anderson power pole, kind of like that. But I guess calling it newer style is kind of a misnomer as well, but I mean, you know what I mean. I think you could do that with these, but I don't really care. What I was really after was the faceplate, so I could transplant it onto my Smart UPS 1400. But I'm still on the fence about that. I don't think I'll do it because that 1400 definitely has some issues with the charging circuit that I'll have to work out. Courtesy of Kirby Crazy, that S78MN, or whatever it is that he's calling himself on YouTube this week, is this Apple Cinema display. I have one of these that was, well, not pristine, but it was certainly in relatively good condition until some dumbass slammed their brakes on the highway and then the stand broke off the back. So, if I remember what I was told right, this doesn't work. There's a problem with either the power supply or the panel itself, but it's got a good stand, which is what I want, so I'm going to have to pull that off of there and transplant it onto the other one. Although honestly, I should probably check and make sure the other one works before I do all of that work, because it looks like it might actually be some, well, work. I'm telling you, this fan has really crapped out. I think the oscillator is completely broken now. What a piece of junk. Speaking of junk, look at all this junk that I gotta look at. All of this is from Hamfest. I mean, that stuff isn't. Monitors aren't. That's not. Obviously, the Hoover convertible isn't. But everything in these bags and that bin And this right here is all from Hamfest. This is a Zenith 4-head VHS VCR. I don't know if it's hi-fi or not. I'd have to look at the back. I never actually really looked. I wasn't originally going to speak for this, but it wouldn't have found a home otherwise. And I don't really want it to go to a Goodwill where it will get destroyed by some heathen who can't really appreciate it. It's from UXW Bill. I think it needs belts, or at least that's what the thought was. It almost certainly needs belts. I'll take a look at it before I plug it in. But I mean, I've got a laundry list of VCRs to work on. That I gotta figure out. I gotta reattach the plate on the front of that. And then this I gotta figure out as well. But anyway, so that's there. This, again, courtesy of Kirby Crazy, is a bunch of stuff. We have pieces for a Power Book. Power supply for a Power Book. 45 watt AC adapter. This is an HP JetDirect 170X, which I'm probably going to use on that Lexmark Optra R Plus, or Optra E Plus, whatever it is. So I can put that on my network. Be pretty neat. This is a power supply for a Toshiba laptop, which, as you might have guessed, is actually in here. This is a Toshiba T4500C. And this might even have, I want to take a look here. Yeah, that looks like that might be color active matrix. It's hard to tell with some of these, but it might not be. I don't think it's shiny enough to be active matrix. I think it needs some help. I think it needs capacitors at the very least. It's a little bit messed up, but does it at least have the memory, or did I get thieved of that? Is that not how you do this on this laptop? Looks like that's not how you do that. On the other one, you just pull this out, and it reveals the memory, but I guess that must be right here. It does have a card in it, though. I don't know how you'd get that out. But it's there. So, it does have some memory. I think there's problems with it. It's going to need to be recapped. The DC down converter, I think, is bad on this laptop. The plastics are in okay condition, though, so that's pretty neat. No less than 4 CD caddies, one of which is going to go to my 2VX. And then this is a very sorry-looking Macintosh PowerBook. 5300 CS. Now you gotta be really careful with this. I might want to do this off camera. Or at the very least, do it like this. Because the display hinges are broken. That's what that is. Now if I remember what I was told right, this works just fine otherwise. But this is the typical condition you find these in, because these were one of the biggest lemon pieces of junk that Apple Computer ever produced. So maybe I'll fix it. Maybe I can fix it. I don't know though. Now I gotta close it somehow. It actually closed, so I guess there's that. It's too bad it's in such sorry condition. There's pieces for it, screws and other things. So I'll have to figure that out. Those are the hinge covers. I don't know if I have the, I don't think I've got the covers for the screws here, which would have said Macintosh PowerBook 5300C on it. I think this is a 5300C, maybe it's a CS. This here is actually courtesy of If You Like Good Ideas. Well, partially. It's also courtesy of me. By which I mean, I actually originally bought this Panasonic SL-PJ324, but I had a problem with the mechanism. And after some experimentation, Ben was able to put a functional mechanism into the CD player. It sounds like complete crap, as you can hear there, but it does actually work. Now, I can't prove that with audio, but it would not do this before. You would not get a track listing out of it. Here you can see it playing. Working just fine. I think pretty much all of these sound just as terrible. I have an SL-P230 from Technics over at the other place, and it squeaks, I think, probably even louder than this one does. Moving down the chain here, this actually came from an antique store in Bloomington, Illinois. I did not pay that. I think I gave $15 for it. But this is an actually fairly nice. What is this, a Gold Star? Yes, Gold Star. Model RCV-0615. 5-inch color TV. Yes, it really is a color TV. And FM AM radio. Works pretty good. We were testing a color computer too. Well, once I actually figured out how the inputs worked, because this does have on the back of it, and this is the reason why I bought it, this has RCA style inputs and outputs. And I don't know why you'd use the outputs, but they're there, I suppose. And of course, 300 ohm twin lead connections there. The one thing that really tripped me up is that there's this TV monitor switch there. And if you set it to monitor, it defeats the TV and goes straight to that. So that was kind of a little bit of a bugaboo for a bit, trying to figure out. Thought that the TV was broken because it wouldn't display anything from the Coco, because the Coco uses RF. Once figured that out, that was pretty good. Alright, onto this bag. Record Archive. Rochester, New York. Those are some CDs that I picked up. Not that interesting. This is also courtesy of Kirby Crazy. If I can get it out of here, it seems to be stuck to something else. I don't really know how that happened. Okay, I guess now that the camera case is done making sweet love to that other thing. This is also courtesy of Kirby Crazy. I think I mentioned that. But this is cool. I'm hoping I can get it to work. This is a Panasonic PalmCam digital camera. 3x optical zoom. Model PV-SD4090. Looks an awful lot like a Sony Mavica. The difference is that this actually has an LS120 drive in it. Unfortunately, it looks like somebody did a number on the drive. You can see there. Hoping that's not going to be a problem. But I got to figure out how to power it first. This takes a DC input on the side, but it's not the regular 6-volt kind. It's actually a 7.2-volt DC input. So I'll have to see what I can find for that. But that should be pretty neat to play with. Comes with the battery. The battery is in there. Also, this is an AV cable for something. I don't know if it's for this. No. Well, yes, actually, it is. I don't have the PC cable, though. So that kind of sucks. But, oh well. Certainly will be interesting to experiment with that. Courtesy of Weasel 2HTM is a sealed 10100 megabit internet print server from Hawking Technology. No idea what kind of quality it actually is. The powerful network printing solution. It's be interesting, like I said again, to see how this really works. Looks like it's compatible with Mac OS 8, so that'd be nice to use that for my Mac OS computers. Purchased at the Hamfest. There's some floppy diskettes and some floppy diskettes holders. I gave $1 for those. You never have too many floppy diskettes. These are not necessarily nice ones, but I'm sure they work just fine. Good for my Sony Mavicus. Also, courtesy of Kirby Crazy is this monstrosity. So we've got the telescopic lamp, which I suspect that this probably doubles as the FM antenna. So there's the light bulb. No idea if it's actually good or not, but I guess we can always plug it in later and find out. Here's another find from the antique store. I passed up a nice looking world band radio for this, because I figured it'd be more interesting than the world band radio. It's an almost new in box sound design clock radio. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work. I don't think it's new in box. I think somebody took it out and did use it, but it's very clean. However, it's got dirty controls, it seems, and the clock mechanism does not work at all. It just displays all of the characters. I'm not really sure why. So that'll have to be a repair project, I suppose. I believe that this came from Kirby Crazy as well, but correct me if I'm wrong. There's a Space Saver keyboard, manufactured by Cherry. It is a model MY1800, which tells you all that you really need to know about this. It uses Cherry MY key switches. Cherry linear key switch, I believe. People really don't like these key switches. They say they're not that great, but I think they're a cut above a rubber dome. So that is going to definitely go to use in my low-end radio studio. Or potentially outside of it, because it does have the 5-pin DIN keyboard connection with the adapter. I think I'm going to use it in the studio, though, because it would fit quite nicely on that table over there. This is probably my crowning jewel. I think this is from the Hamfest. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was, because there's some documentation in here. Yeah, that suggests that it was, at least at some point. This is a Talking House AM transmitter. These were intended to be used by real estate agents for selling houses. The idea being you tune your radio. Let's see if I can find the documentation here. Yeah, that's basically, that gives you a pretty good idea as to what this was used for. But, of course, my understanding is that you can put anything into the aux input and it'll broadcast that 24/7. So, if that is indeed what this does, which maybe it's not, because you can see here, the idea is that you're supposed to record, I think like 180 seconds, or you get 90 seconds worth of stuff that you can record and broadcast out. I don't know. I'll have to do some experimentation with that. But it's nice to actually have one of these. Here's some SDP swag. Nice little hat. Courtesy of Jester Tech. I don't know. Anyway. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too small for my head. And I also really kind of don't want to wreck it because it's so nice looking. I mean, I've already got it all dirty. So it may just end up being a studio prop. Which is also what this is probably going to be. I gave $1 for this at the Hamfest. Picked this up at the Hamfest, $3 or 2 for $5, so I picked up 2 of them. This one's in black. The other one is in red, which I actually managed to lose already, so that's a thing. The running joke is that I keep forgetting to bring my USB-C charging cable along with the trip. Oh yeah, there it is. So I brought this instead. The only problem with this is that this connector end is too big to fit into my phone with the case on it. Coming down to the nitty gritty here is another laptop, Dell XPS. For this cheap piece of crap. Trying to think, where is the model? Well, that's not a helpful model number. Either way, comes with the refurbished PC's disk and Windows 7 Home Premium. So that's probably what it will keep. But watch this. This is one of the really crappy ones. I'll turn it on here. Look at the bling bling. Certainly got a lot of that. I'm pretty sure I got the Inspiron version of this laptop that's much more pedestrian, but also seems to work a little bit better. It's doing a full memory count right now for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't have time for that. See? Craziness. So that's a little irritating. But we'll have to see if I can get it working properly. Here we have 2 HP Screams. I believe these are HP Stream 11 laptops running Windows 10. This is what happens when you have a fan base. This was the one that I actually spoke for. This one was spoken for by If You Like Good Ideas, and I kind of stole it. Oops. Because the two of us weren't exactly sure whose it was, so I just, well, that'll actually apply to something else here. But I just grabbed them, put them in my trunk, and then it was later revealed, yeah, you stole my HP Stream. Although he seemed to be okay with it, but I don't know if I really need 2 of them. I got a 3rd one already over at the other place that I got last year. My ultimate goal for this is to see if I can get one of these to run Linux. Because supposedly that's a very difficult feat. So I'll have to see what happens. And last but not least, again, I don't know how I ended up with 2 of them. This was the one that we couldn't figure out who these belonged to, which is how I then ended up with the extra HP Stream. These are HP EliteBook, or HP DeleteBook, if you simply must. 8460Ws. Both of them are exactly the same. I love that warranty start date. Core i5, 2nd generation, 4 gigs of RAM. So, not terrible. I believe they've got hard drives, but the hard drive's been wiped. These are certainly, at least one of these is probably going to get an SSD. But, for the time being at least, like I said, they've been wiped. And they'll need an operating system installed. And that is going to do it for the Hamfest 2023 video. Again, no matter how I end up actually shooting this, I didn't shoot a whole lot of video on the actual trip itself because it just kind of seemed like a lot of work. And I wasn't feeling great the Monday. So there's no video from the Monday. But either way, you're seeing this now. So, however I've decided to edit this video together, I have edited this video together. So, thank you for watching. And if you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below. Stay tuned, because there will certainly be videos of some of this stuff.